Hey guys, Mars Noob Cyber with the Gravity Project here, and this video is going to be on whether or not DC is actually dying, right? So as you know, people are making videos all the time talking about whether or not DC is dying, and I guess I got into this verbal altercation with this guy, Josh P, if you will. So this guy right here. And, he is kind of belligerent, but for what it's worth, he did bring up a valid point, which is, people generally don't support this with numbers and with facts. And he's saying basically that seems like an opinion. So first off, he says DC won't die if it keeps making money, so you're wrong there. There are MMOs that are older than DC that are still going on successfully. So, I mean, yeah, he's right about that, but that wasn't what I said in my video. What I said was, if we all stopped paying today, DC would crash and burn, and then I said within the year. So basically I meant a few months ago when I made the video in like May, I think it was, that if we all stopped paying then, DC would crash and burn, and by the end of 2016 would probably be going out of business. But so he says that's speculation. No one actually knows the game's population or has access to it, and that's actually not true. There's a census, and back in the day, before they merged PC and PlayStation servers, the forums itself used to show the player population and how dense it was. And I got in another altercation with somebody who was saying that the US has a smaller not gamer population, but DC player population than EU, which I knew for a fact wasn't true because DC used to show, like the forums used to show the population. So I could tell that there was way more active players on USPS than EUPS. But you know, that's whatever, neither here nor there. So I told this guy about the census website, and I was saying that, you know, you can see the population, and he was saying, so I've been comparing year by year, month by month, and I guess he was kind of cynical in his execution, like making it seem like it would be ridiculous for me to be keeping up with the game population. But I think when you're interested in something, that's just genuinely something that you would do. You know, you keep tabs on things, and that is something that I do. I go to the census all the time. I've been doing it since probably 2012, when they once they had these things at our disposal. I've been using them. Like WaveDocs, when that first came out, I was using it all the time. WaveDocsing everybody, WaveDocsing myself. WaveDocs initially used to show you how many hours you had on the game, and that was, I don't know, maybe late 2012 or early 2013, and by that time I had already had like 400 something hours logged in the game. That was years ago. So, and that was on one character. I had about 4 characters that I was using at that time already. So all that to be said, and I guess now I'm just gonna show you guys how to, you know, accurately do this, because I think it does confuse people. So rather than putting in census, I'm gonna put in population, and that's gonna bring me DCUOlive.com/census. So it's pretty straightforward. It seems to confuse a lot of people, so I'm just gonna show you kind of the steps and what makes sense. Like, it's not an algorithm or anything crazy, but it's, you know, realistic, how you're gonna get pretty accurate numbers. So as you can see, there's 21 million characters created in total. This is both active and inactive, and on all servers across the board. And so that right there is already a low number, because if you look at games like World of Warcraft that have had huge populations, World of Warcraft has had years where in that time, like for that year, they've had 19 million active players. DC has never had a population like that. So, like, just off the bat, DC has a way smaller population than some of the bigger MMOs, right? And World of Warcraft is an unfair example because that's probably the king of all MMOs, right? But I'm gonna go ahead and select USPC/PS as my server, and then I'm gonna do faction as all, not even just the hero or villain side, because that would dwindle your numbers a lot. And then I'm gonna do level equal to 30, so we know that they've beat the story mode. And we're gonna do PvECR greater than 30, so we know that they've kept progressing through the game, or that they've at least achieved level 30 before they stop playing, right? And then we're gonna have active and current, so we're gonna update it. I didn't worry about skill points or anything. So we're at 1,037,946 characters, and that's characters. So I myself have 14 characters, and I probably play on about 7 of them, 6 or 7 actively. So you have to assume that within this million players, that most of them have alts. and not all of them are on at any given time. So realistically, there's probably closer to 400,000 players, maybe 600,000 players on the US server. And this is after PC has been merged with PlayStation. Not last time I checked, but a while ago when I was looking, probably in late 2013, I know for a fact there was 2 million active players, and that was before we had even merged with PCs. So it's safe to assume that we've lost over 50% of the population. And I think it's really weird because when people say DC is dying, they're not just saying it to be assholes. That's not the point. The people who are saying DC is dying are the people who care most about the game. Like, whether or not DC was dying wouldn't matter to me if I didn't care. And I'm not just saying DC is dying to say it. I'm saying it because I know 2 or 3 years ago I had 50 or 60 people on my friends list that I would play with actively. I would play with those 50 or 60 people all the time. And since there's maybe 5 or 6 of those players left, a lot of them are gone. They've moved on to bigger and better things, and some of them just stopped gaming. Some of them quit a while ago. Some of them quit recently. But for what it's worth, almost all of the hardcore players I know have stopped playing. I mean, most of the people on my friends list are gone. I have hundreds of people on my friends list, and I think there's maybe only 20 or 30 of them that play actively now. And so now if we're going to do factions, obviously that would change it. If we're going to do people who are really, really actively playing, right, then their CR, let's say that it would be above 160. So we're going to see that. This updates. Now it's only 10,000 characters. There's only 10,000 players on the villain side that are greater than 160 CR. But if they're really, really active, we know that they'd probably be closer to 166 or 167. And then that's not including skill points. We probably want to see skill points that are greater than 150. We're gonna update that. Everything changes the numbers drastically. Now we're down to 5,800 players. So obviously across the board, we're gonna see a lot more. We're gonna see maybe, I don't even know, not really, 7,000. It's like DC is dying. I don't know why. I'm not doing it. I'm not saying it to be mean. And this guy is basically like Josh P was saying, show him the proof. And I don't know if that's not proof enough. If that's not proof enough, I don't know what would be. I told him I'll make a video, and this is the video, and he said he's waiting. Obviously, he's going to be very cynical about this video because I don't have the numbers from 3 or 4 years ago. But I think anyone with a functioning brain, no offense, I'm not trying to be a douche to you, Josh, but anybody with a good amount of common sense is going to realize that with the 21 million players that have, or characters that have been created, much more than 10 or 15,000 of them were playing actively when the game was newer. It's just the game has taken a lot of left turns. They made a lot of changes that people really did not appreciate. The people who were playing very actively and did get very good at the game have been stabbed in the back repeatedly. They made this game mind-numbingly easy. It's beyond like, you know, oh, there's a lot of easy stuff, but there's also components that make the game hard. You could pick up this game and in a month or two be a champ. I mean, with select powers, if you were munitions or ice or earth, sorcery, pretty much half of the powers at this point, you can be OP. Skill points don't matter, and they're trying to change that, but it's like too little too late, right? Because a lot of the people who had those skill points, a lot of the people that were in the 230s, 240s, 250s, 60s, 70s, well, not 270s because they're still playing, right? But the people that got up to like the 230s and 40s, a lot of them quit around when NGN came out. A lot of people quit when Quantum was broken. A lot of people have quit this last few months. And I mean, I'm not going to sit here and just keep telling you a lot of people have quit, but a lot of people have quit. So, I guess call to action. I want to ask you guys if you feel like DC is dying. People who play actively, tell me if your friends list, the active members, have dwindled. Tell me if you can see a noticeable difference. I mean, people who were playing back in the year can tell you that, not back in the year, back in the day rather, can tell you that there was a point in time where the LFG and the shout chat and all the chats would move so quickly it was actually hard to make groups because there was too many active players. So, you know, we've gone from the days of expanding our our chat tab just so we can see all the names and doing all that, because LFG is slow rolling. There's not a lot of players, and when you do get on, there's just not much to do. The content is really easy. You can knock it out in a night, and then that's it. So I'm Mars Noob, sorry about the Gravity Project, guys. Tell me if this was interesting. Like I said, tell me if you agree or disagree. Obviously, some of you are going to disagree because I can't show you the numbers from some time ago, but these are the numbers now, and you know, this is the census. This is how you work it. So if you want to play around with it, tell me what you find. And yeah, like, comment, rate, and subscribe. Thanks so much for watching, and I will see you all next time.